It's Friday and we're going casual here on Digital Charcuterie. Hi everyone, my name is James Razile, and Casual Friday, for all of you that don't know, is a show where I read and answer your email questions. If you have an email question or topic you'd like to hear me talk about, digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com is where you send it. Try not to make it too long because we have a graphic and it looks a little bit ugly if it's too long on the graphic, so you want to condense your words a little tiny bit. And yeah, I'll go through it. Again, guys, gotta say thank you. Last week I said thank you for 300 subscribers. This week I've got to say a huge thank you. We're over 400 subscribers now. It's awesome. It's incredible. It really means a lot to me. Honestly, it really does. It's very helpful, and it means a lot that you guys want to hear me talk about movies and whatnot, and to be a part of it with your email questions on this show and other shows too. We've been spreading them out because, again, another thank you. Been getting so many emails. We did it on Super Tuesday this week. Josh, I got to talk so many about the Raylo topic that Josh and I did that video last night just because we were getting so many on that. I had to do a secondary video for that. And then Monday I had to do the Manic Monday show as like an overflow type thing. So I'm doing it first come, first serve, essentially. So in the order that I get them is the order that I'll do them. I'm only doing 3 again today, so look for another Monday show to answer more questions if you have. If you don't see yours on this one, look for it on Monday. But it's a lot of fun. I love getting emails. I love talking about movies. And I love talking about movies with you guys, people that I would never meet otherwise. It is fantastic. So thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for sending in the content. It's unbelievable. But let's get right to the first question, because today we got 3 cool ones. We're going to be talking some Star Wars and some DCEU and some Avengers Infinity War. Who's not excited for that? Who's not excited for Deadpool 2, by the way? Whoa, that was... The Deadpool trailers are killing it. Anyway, first question comes from Matt. Matt says, "Hi James, big fan of the channel. Was wondering, will Justice League 2 still happen?" Matt. Thanks, Matt. Justice League 2, no. Right off the bat, no. Justice League 2, you will not. I think, the first one died. I think what you want to do is you want to bury that one. You get the shovel, pour some sand over it, forget that it ever happened, and moved on. And I think that if you look at DC's slate right now, that really appears, on the surface at least, to be what they're doing. If you look at it, Shazam. Okay, the Shazam costume looked like crap. Fair enough. But you know what else looked like crap? The Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man costume. When they first revealed that, it looked weird. And I remember talking to friends being like, that looks bizarre. It might not have been the first official picture because they might have touched that up, but the set pictures looked weird. And then you see it with the proper lighting and the little bit of effects, and all of a sudden, he looks like Spider-Man, and you're not thrown out of it anymore. So the Shazam costume, I would be cautiously optimistic going into the look of that one, because it does look fake. It throws me off, makes me question what's going on, but I'm going to hold off until I see it in context. You got to see it in context. Like I said, with the Spider-Man 2001, whenever that was, you had to see that in context. Look at this one in context. But anyway, they have that. Wonder Woman, they're so attached to Wonder Woman, to Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. And why wouldn't they be? It was a box office success, critical success, best rated movie in the DCEU. I believe the second highest grossing film in the DCEU. Or was it the highest? Maybe this, I can't remember. It might be the second highest. But it's very high in the DCEU. Probably the highest. The problem is Batman. Maybe even Superman. I would love to see a Man of Steel 2 and have people react to that and maybe get out of it. And look, Man of Steel, I have said multiple times, I absolutely love Man of Steel. It's my favorite DCEU film. It's one of my favorite superhero films. But it hasn't been translating into this DCU world for a lot of people. So I'm curious to see if somebody else comes in and handles a Henry Cavill Superman, if fans will be accepting of that. And that's where I'm curious. Batman, I think, look, the whole behind-the-scenes drama with Affleck, people were happy with Batman and Batman v Superman, I think, but I don't think it was enough. And Justice League bombed. And now you have Flashpoint coming, which I would equate to that to the MCU Civil War, in that Civil War kind of was like, boom, this is happening now. Setting up the stones and having all your characters in it, and this is how I feel about the Flashpoint. They're like, okay, we'll go into Flashpoint, and Flashpoint will reboot what we need to reboot. So you might see a new Batman coming out, it might see a new Superman, but we'll still have the same Wonder Woman, because we won't go that far back in time. Because they look, if they can go a certain amount of time, you can change things. I don't know what their plan is with it, or if it'll even be good. You know, the problem with Justice League that I had was it felt like they were shoehorning in what they thought people wanted to see when it didn't belong, and it just didn't feel like it just felt like somebody got some Play-Doh and they're like, oh, here's a yellow Play-Doh, here's a purple Play-Doh, here's a red Play-Doh, and they just started doing it. They're like, look what I made. And just because it's Play-Doh doesn't mean it's nice. And that's how I feel. You know, just because it's superheroes doesn't mean it's nice, and that's how I feel about that. So, you know, and I've also been hearing that Matt Reeves' Batman film, everything after it starts production supposedly in 2019. Matt Reeves apparently is working on the script. They're letting him work on the script and take all the time he needs to do this. But apparently it goes into production in 2019. And apparently the fate of the DCU, whatever that means, hinders on some sort of success of this film. Whatever this Batman film does, that's where the rest of it is. Which is strange when you have Flashpoint, when you have Shazam, you have Aquaman, you have Wonder Woman 2, Man of Steel 2, is that still up in the air? I don't know. So it's weird when you already have all that stuff. It really feels to me like they are just like, we're going to get them with Shazam, maybe Black Adam if that's still a thing. But Aquaman's coming, Wonder Woman 2. We'll forget about Justice League. We'll do the Flashpoint thing. And then after Flashpoint, we'll have a standalone Batman thing. And maybe if we recast Batman, maybe then we just do another Justice League movie. Not called 2, not associated with the Justice League movie you just saw. A brand new Justice League movie. It is a second one, but it's a brand new one. And maybe then we can do it. And maybe they don't call it Justice League. Maybe they call it DCEU Team Up or something. I don't know. That's where I see. I can't see them doing a sequel to a movie that failed. It failed. 99 million. It made 250, I believe, overall, which is not bad, I guess. But I mean, it's terrible for a superhero movie nowadays. It's awful. It's $100 million more than Batman and Robin. It's like, it's, you know, I don't know. What do you get? Would you guys watch a Justice League 2? I would watch a Justice League 2, but I'm one person. So I think, honestly, they're just like, forget what's going on here. Forget about it. Look at our new stuff. Our new stuff is great. Isn't this what you wanted? Isn't this it? Yes, it is. And then they'll do a Justice League down the road when they've sorted everything out. Or maybe they'll just stay away from Justice League altogether. Just contradicted myself right there. That's another possibility. Maybe they're just like, you know what? The team up is now working. Just standalone. And maybe once in a while we'll get a Flashpoint where the heroes come together, but it's never Justice League. It's like it's Flashpoint, or it's Wonder Woman 3 or 4, or it's, you know, it's Aquaman. Like, where's Nightwing? Where's Batgirl? Like, these movies were slated years ago. Now there's nothing. So maybe they're going to do that. Maybe we'll just get a bunch of standalones, and every once in a while, Nightwing will show up in Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman will show up in Cyborg, and, you know, Shazam will show up in Batman and stuff like that. That's, you know, who knows? I was looking forward to the Injustice League myself at the end of the movie, but I think it's dead. I think it's dead. If it's not, just let it go. That's it. All right. Thanks so much. Our next question comes from Steven. Steven says, hey, James, love Casual Friday. Well, thank you so much, Steven. Will any of the Guardians of the Galaxy die in an Avengers Infinity War? Thank you, Steven. Valid question. I know a lot of people are shaking their heads. That's stupid. It's not a stupid question. It sound on the surface, it does sound like a stupid question. And I'm going to say no, they're not going to die. Just right off the bat, I'm going to say no. I don't think they're going to die. However, there is a possibility that they could be offed in Avengers Infinity War because of the timeline of the MCU. Because of the timeline. We know Guardians 3 is coming. We know it's coming. But when does it take place? Does it take place before or after Infinity War? Guardians of the Galaxy 2 takes place 4 months after Guardians of the Galaxy 1. So it happens way before all of this stuff. We got to know how they get to Thor, right? We should know when that happened. So we don't know much about the Guardians in a long period of time. A long period of time. Now, like I said, I don't think they're going to die, but it is plausible because, look, a lot of characters are going to be dealing with, there's going to be a lot of losses and a lot of learned lessons and a lot of problems that are going to be presented for the future MCU films. There's a lot of substance that's going to be carried over to those other films. And is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 going to carry that baggage with them? I don't think so. I think we're going to get a prequel to Infinity War. I think it's going to be harder to explain that in timeline going on. But I just, if you're thinking about fun and whatnot, There's going to be some backlash from Gamora, I would assume, because that's her father coming to destroy half the universe. So how do the Guardians deal with Gamora? Maybe that's what this third movie is going to be about. Maybe they put it before it. So that's why I say it's not a stupid question, because this could take place a month, because Guardians 3, I should say, could take place a month after Guardians Volume 2. If anything's been said otherwise, let me know in the comments below. I haven't seen anything, but I could have missed it or whatnot. We know Adam Warlock's been teased. He could be the Soul Stone. That's a theory that's going around right now, because everything is a Soul Stone at this point. But I don't think he's in Infinity War. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't think they would. Look, from what I've seen, Chris Pratt also, I think, is what the MCU is looking towards to be the next Robert Downey Jr. of the MCU. Because Tony Stark, I think, is gone. Chris Evans has already said he is not returning to the MCU after Avengers 4. Gone. Thor, might as well just gone. Chris Pratt is the best replacement for Tony Stark that you've got. The best one that you've got. For Stark himself. And, you know, you can argue Shuri and whatnot, but I would say character-wise, persona-wise, characteristic-wise, Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, carries himself that could carry a franchise, which we have seen in 2 movies now. Whether you like Guardians 2 or not, whatever, Chris Pratt's great in those movies, and he's got the charisma that you're looking for. So that's where I think there. Rocket, I've heard some spoilers from Rocket that's going on, and I cannot wait to see that stuff. And we know Gamora and Nebula I'm very curious to see what happens in this film with those 2 characters. Very, very curious. But I don't think any of them will die. I don't. I think it'll be fun to see. And it'll be fun to see which direction they take Guardians 3. Is it after Infinity War or is it before Infinity War? Do you deal with the problems that arose, or do you just ignore them and tell your own story? Which I'm also fine with, because Guardians are fun on their own. That's what I feel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are any of the Guardians of the Galaxy going to die? Probably not. Probably. Would you want it to be a prequel to Infinity War or a sequel of sorts to Infinity War? Let me know in the comments below. All right, here we go. Our last question comes from Rachel, and Rachel asks, if Kylo/Ben and Rey together bringing balance to the Force is Endgame, then how does this jibe with the Sith theory of 2? Will this mean the Sith were actually right about that much, at least? Rachel. Thank you so much, Rachel. Yes and no. Look, you have to... The Sith teachings, the Sith understanding, they understood the Force. We can't forget that. We can't ignore that. They understood the Force. They understood it as much as the Jedi, but they understood it in a different way from the Jedi. So, yeah, they could do all the stuff the Jedi could do, but they used this darker element of it, a lazier element, if you will, of it. And the Jedi did the Jedi stuff. The rule of 2 we were first introduced to it, obviously, in The Phantom Menace, when Yoda said, always 2 there are, the Master or the Apprentice, which was killed the Master or the Apprentice. And then from there, we learned that Darth Bane created the rule of 2. But even prior to Darth Bane, we've learned that the 2 has always been a big number with the Sith. There were temples and holocrons that could only be accessed with 2 Sith, with 2. So the Sith were definitely right about the number 2. In this respect, though, in the Kylo/Ben and Rey aspect of it, I think that is past Sith, because because we know the last Sith were killed. Vader and Sheev, good old Sheev Palpatine, the Emperor, were both killed off. And when they died, the Sith died along with them. Snoke is something else. He is a dark side user of some sorts we don't know anything about. And he trained Kylo he understood the dark side in Kylo, and he thought the darkness within Kylo is what could make Kylo great, that made him like the greatest being on Earth, in the galaxy or whatnot. Now we have Rey, who, because of Kylo, is the light side version of that. And what I believe, and I said this in a previous video, is the Journal of the Wills at the beginning of The Force Awakens was put there on purpose. It wasn't just thrown and slapped on there randomly. It said the understanding of the gray through refined Jedi mind. 2 key lines, I believe. The gray and the refined Jedi mind. Whether that insinuates Kylo's redemption back to becoming a Jedi and working with Rey, I don't think so, but maybe. because if you watch the Praetorian Guard scene, everything is they're yin and yang of each other. They are the light and the dark, and they are fighting off, working together for common ground, which I do believe is the end game. Whether it's Hux or a threat from another region, I believe those two are going to have to come together in some capacity to destroy the greater threat to them and to everything around them. Because I think Kylo legitimately believes that he can be the greatest leader in the galaxy, can be a phenomenal leader. That's what I believe. And if he starts thinking that Hux or somebody is kind of taking over and ruining his plan, the only person that could really help him out, the only person he would trust is Rey, his light side variant. That's where I am on this. So I think, yes, you're right. The Sith, in a lot of ways, were right about 2, and at the end it comes down to 2. But it's not 2 Sith. They're wrong about that. It's not 2 Sith. It is a master and apprentice, but it is a dark side and a light side. And when those two come together, anything is possible. That's actually what I think. I think you need light side needs dark side needs light, and that's what the balance is, right? Vader is struggling with that. Kylo struggles with that. Luke was struggling with that. Now this is all coming to a head, and we have, instead of one person being conflicted with this problem, it's 2 people conflicted, and they have to balance each other out to save the galaxy, which is where we think we're going with it. I mean, maybe episode 9 ends with an explosion, and yay! But John Boyega did say that it's going to be all-out war. I hope more people get lightsabers. I don't think they will, and I hope there's more red lightsabers, more blue lightsabers, green lightsabers, purple lightsabers, yellow lightsabers, all the fun stuff coming in episode 9. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Once again, you can email me at digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sending in that last question. I love talking Star Wars. It's one of my favorite things ever. I have another YouTube channel, Reddable Scum Podcast, where we just talk Star Wars over there, and I absolutely love it. But thanks so much, guys. I look forward to answering more questions in the coming days. Thanks so much for sending them in. And again, thank you for helping us pass 400 subscribers here at Digital Charcuterie. And until next time, ciao for now.